Welcome everybody to the call. I'm trying to see if you guys can hear me okay. I'm not sharing anything yet. Do you see some people are here? Let's see. To get into the chat, okay, so Sharon can hear me. Craig says he can hear me, awesome. And then let me see if you can see my screen. 1 second. Okay. Let's see the chat. Okay, Sharon sees my screen. Let's see. Okay, cool. Very cool. Let me see the screen. So before we begin, if this is a brand new, what's the word? This is a brand new, first of all, my name's Lawton Childs. I work for Todd for a while now as far as helping him with different parts of his business. And it's a pleasure to be talking to you guys, the Mentor to a Million, and helping you get fast results with your sales copy and persuasive messages is my goal, without a lot of like technical jargon or anything like that. Just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen, hear me, all that stuff. Before we begin, we might wait a minute before other people get here. But anyway, this is being recorded and should be rendered soon, after the call. I do want to let you know I am going to teach you some stuff really quickly. A man named Thomas Hall, and he is one of Gary Halbert's favorite, mentors as far as in the copywriting world and world of high-end persuasion and high-end sales. Thomas Hall, amazing ads, and you're going to learn some really interesting and unique persuasion principles today. We're going to give you some great ability to start off your sales messages with a bang and to learn how to get people into your sales copy and to get people into your messages faster. Everything in copy, Joe Sugarman, he liked to say that, everything in sales copy, the job of the headline, the only job of the headline is to get the person to read the first sentence of the copy. And the first sentence of the copy is just to get them to read the second sentence, and so on until they get to the buy button. And he called that the grease slide or the slippery slope, getting people to go all the way down into the copy. And, what actually is cool about this is that I can actually draw on the screen, which I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I think you can, which is pretty cool. So I can draw here, little, yay. Yeah, it is cool. So I can kind of point out things and then delete them as I see fit, which is quite nice. Let's see, I'm going to choose this one right here. So I'll wait one more minute or two for more people to get on. Yeah, this is definitely cool that I can actually do this kind of thing. Okay, that's pretty dope. And it says Christopher on here. My name is Lawton, so it's just we're doing some different stuff here with the arrows and things like that. I'm gonna erase this stuff.
You want to mute? Yeah.
Let me. Oh wait, there we go.
Not mute.
The other one wouldn't let me do anything, so it's good that it doesn't. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely even more than a new toy. It's just so much easier to sort of pull this stuff out and call attention to it rather than like the whole screen. So Let me actually find the tool that I would like to use, and we will be on our way. All right, so this part right here, and this is not the entire ad, but it is, actually this ad was so hard to find that I actually had to voice dictate the ad into Pages. I can't find it online anywhere. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to show them how to do, how to write the ad and, everything like that. And then when I started to look it up, it didn't exist anywhere. It was so rare. But again, this is an ad for a diet. It's basically a diet solution that they were offering. And the whole hook was the beginning of the letter, basically, it was sold as a white paper report. And I think what I'll do toward the end is I will read the letter out. It's only 3 pages. It's pretty short, but I want you to have it, in audio form at least until I can go in and, and dictate it all to get it to you. It's just super rare, and it's not, online that I can find. So, but this is a good opportunity for me to say, basically at the end of the training, we will have an opportunity to look at any and all of your copy and all of your, any of your sales messages, your ads, your emails, anything else like that that you would like me to look at and review and put a accelerator on, as I like to call it, the copy accelerator. Basically, it's using my 10, 12 years of direct mail and direct response experience to shortcut the time you have to spend, writing and trying to come up with the right phrases and the right, basically, psychological tools to get more sales. I want to help shortcut that process for you. So make sure to gather up your any kind of letter that you're writing or email or it could be a webinar invite. It could be just an idea that you had. I'd love to talk to you about it, and we will have time in a little bit to go through that stuff and to help you with it. So without further ado, let us begin with this Thomas Hall ad. And again, this is not the whole thing. It's actually just like the first page, but I did want to, I did want to help you guys to try to get the, the gist of this ad. So the reason why this ad, Gary Halbert, you guys probably know who the Halberts are, Bond Halbert and Kevin Halbert. If not, I would highly encourage you to go over to the GaryHalbertLetter.com. Let's see. So the GaryHalbertLetter.com. Don't go there now. But that is where you should go after the call. And Gary Halbert is one of the best, marketing consultants and copywriters who ever lived. With some of the most successful sales letters ever written. And, as members of Mentor to a Million, you should know who he is and you should study his work and subscribe to his, he's passed away, but his newsletter is still there, and it's one of the most amazing, it's more, you can learn more about making money, than from a degree at Harvard. So, but Gary Halbert had a lot of mentors, and one of them was Thomas Hall, and Thomas Hall wrote this ad. So this famous line right here, if you would like to lose up to 63 pounds, then here is how I did it in Japan and why I think you can do it in America. And I'm just going to read you this first part, and then we'll talk about why this is so effective, okay? Before I tell you about it, let me say I'm no advertising man, so I'll have to tell you about it in my own words with no nonsense. It all boils down to this. I lost a lot of weight fast because I discovered the secret of how the Japanese keep thin. The Japanese eat the same foods we do. They seem to eat all the time, yet they do not get fat. I tried their system and quickly lost 63 pounds. I got my American friends here in Tokyo, both men and women, to try the system, and they lost weight just like I did. This Japanese system worked for me. It worked for my friends, and I'm sure it will work for you if you try it. This proven system is different because you don't starve yourself. I know this sounds unbelievable. I thought so too when I first heard about it, but after losing 63 pounds, I know for sure it works. But this Japanese system is not a diet in the sense you are made uncomfortable. Just the opposite. You follow the simple system and the weight comes off. Maybe you will understand better about the system if I tell you how I found out about it. About 2 years ago, I was in the middle of one of my many diet attempts when a Japanese friend of mine asked me to go with him and take part in the private memorial service for his father. I agreed. And that's sort of the beginning of the ad. It goes on for a couple more pages and introduces, like what was happening. It talks about, it talks about where they went. It talks about a joke was made about the man's weight, the guy who's writing the letter. And then basically I'll just read you the little rest of it because it's so good. About 2 years ago, I was in the middle of one of my many diet attempts when a Japanese friend of mine asked me to go with him and take part in a private memorial service for his father. I agreed. We went to the Nichiren Buddhist temple near where his father is buried. After the service, the priest invited us to his private quarters where his wife prepared a small ceremonial meal. While eating, something funny was said about my weight. I laughed but didn't think it was funny any more than you would if someone made a joke about your weight. And then something was said about Japanese eating and not getting fat while Americans get fatter and fatter. I did not understand, but I wondered about it. A few weeks later, while looting through some books at the bookstore, I saw a short mention of the system. I did nothing about it because the book did not give details. Soon after I mentioned this system to a Japanese friend, Suzuki-san, who runs a gym, he knew about the system and explained it fully to me. Suzuki told me that what you can eat is part of it, but more important, it is the combination of foods you eat during any one meal. Now, I know this sounds strange to you just as it did to me because it is an Oriental idea. I cannot explain how it works in the body because I am not a doctor or a biologist, and frankly, I do not care how it works. What is important to me, in fact, it does work. The system took off my extra 63 pounds when nothing else would, and the system keeps my weight normal. When I told Suzuki I had my doubts about the system, he said to me what I am going to say to you. Try the system and see for yourself. I agreed to try it because I had nothing to lose. The rest is history. And at this point, at the end of 2 weeks, I lost 16 pounds and I kept losing weight until I lost 63 pounds. My waist went from 46 inches to 33 inches, down 13 inches. And I felt better than any time in my life. Most important, I succeeded with the system where others failed. There was no temptation to eat more because I ate all I wanted. I can't hold more food than I eat every day. I am not gaining any weight back because the system is a natural part of my life and it always will be. And the same thing can happen to you. All you have to do is try this Japanese system like I did. Your life will never be the same again. I promise you that. Once you start losing weight, many fine things happen to you just like they did to me. You will be happier, you will look better, and you will add interesting years to your life. According to insurance companies, overweight people lead shorter lives. My doctor told me I had added 15 years to my life by losing my extra weight. And if I could lose 63 pounds this easy way, then anyone in the world should lose weight easier because I have been overweight almost all my adult life. Not just overweight, but plain fat. I didn't like being fat. In fact, I hated it. For over 20 years, I tried every diet. Went to doctors for reducing shots. Tried hypnosis, even tried to sweat it off with steam baths, but nothing worked for very long. Soon I gained it back, and usually more because I couldn't take the hunger pains or nervous tension that goes with American diets. If you tried diets before, then you know the misery they cause. But because of this Japanese system is not a torture diet, you eat while losing weight. And I mean real food like you eat now. None of this carrot, stick, lettuce, pickle, and no dressing salad business. The kind of stuff many may satisfy rabbits, but not people. Let me make this one last point. I'm an average American just like you who was tired of being fat, and I was plenty tired of having my weight being made the target of every huckster who had a diet scheme that promised me results, hooked me out of my money, and left me as overweight as ever. I did not like to be treated that way, and I know you don't like to be treated that way either. At the same time, like me, you're interested in a proven weight reduction system that works, especially if the system is as good as your success can be guaranteed. I know the system works. I am living proof of its results, and I want you to experience the same results. I want you to have the information about this Japanese system now at the least possible cost. It is the information in the system you want, not a fancy bound book that is cover to cover and no contents. To give you this system at its lowest cost, I've had it printed out in report form on plain white paper. That is the cheapest and fastest way to get it to you. At this point, I know I've done everything necessary to help you lose weight like I did. Even so, I see no reason for you to take a chance. After all, I am the one making the claims, asking you to believe me. If you tried to lose weight before without success, then I can't blame you for being doubtful. But before you give up for good and resign yourself to a lifetime of being overweight, put your faith in me and what I tell you. I guarantee your success with the system because I know it works. If you really want to be slim and trim, then mail the request form to me today. I'll send you the report by return mail, by airmail if you wish, and you will soon know what it is like to lose weight and keep it off for good. I guarantee your experience with the system will be as successful as mine, or I will refund your money without hesitation. Sincerely, Thomas L. Hall. P.S. Let me say once again, the Japanese eat the same foods as we do. Their grocery stores carry the same brand names as yours in America. The difference is the system they use, as Suzuki explained it to me, and I am now passing it on to you after I lost my 63 pounds and proved it works. And it will work for you too. So that's the letter. And as you can see, one of the reasons why it's so powerful is this first part of the letter. Okay, now I'm not going to go in and dissect the entire thing. I will, tomorrow go in and hand write it for you, so you'll have it in its entirety, and you can model it for your own promotions and ideas. But what do you think are some reasons why it was successful in selling the diet book? I think I can open up the lines here, and so you guys can kind of talk. Let me see if I can do that here. Just 1 second. All right, I think I'm unmuting you guys, so you can speak if you want to. Let me see, just 1 second. All right, so you should all be unmuted. But yeah, what do you guys think? What's your initial impressions about that ad?
He comes across as just an everyday guy.
And I should be able to hear you.
You can't.
If you guys are connected to the microphone. If you want to speak, you can just type into the chat.
He comes across as just an everyday guy.
Whoever is speaking, I can hear you great.
Okay, yeah, Peggy says he comes across as just an everyday guy.
Yeah, I can hear you great, Peggy.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the most important things is he comes across as just the everyday person. And yeah, so you guys can hear Peggy, but I can't hear Peggy. Peggy, what I'm going to do is do a presenter real quick so we can hear you, because I don't know why I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah, you know what? All right, guys, try it now.
Hello?
Hey, Peggy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Guys, hopefully you don't hear a bunch of echoes. If you do, I'll put on my headphones.
This is Craig.
Hey, Craig. Yes, I realized that I did not have my speakers on, so I cannot hear you. But yeah, the first part of the ad, Peggy hits it nail on the head. This is why the ad works, and I think it's because it's specific. So if you would like to lose up to 63 pounds, then here is how I did it in Japan and why I think you can do it in America. So it's anchoring beliefs. So it's anchoring beliefs because it's giving you a reference of the how much weight that he lost, where the weight was lost. And then he basically says, hey, I think you can do it wherever you live, which is probably America, right? So, and the fact is it's so far away that it adds this air of mystery about, especially when it was written, about, the Japanese. It could be like, for us today, it could be like, I don't know, New Zealand or Indian or, some type of African diet that is more mysterious to our American cultures. Here's how I did it in Japan and why I think you could do it in America. It's very non-threatening. It's sort of like, here's a story about how this happened. And then it basically, this part, again, like Peggy said, it diminishes doubt and fear that they're going to be sold. Like, oh, this letter is a sales pitch or a sales message. And so it basically says, before I tell you about it, let me say I am no advertising man. So I will have to tell you about it in my own words with no nonsense. Okay, so that basically is putting a bit, there's a big thing like, oh, I bet this is a sales pitch about some type of diet thing. And he's saying like, hey, I'm no advertising man. So they're saying like, oh, this is a story, it's not from some big corporation. He's just like me, So I think that's very, very important because basically like, oh, it's some big corporation selling me something. No, it's not. And then basically he keeps the curiosity going. Number one, it's like very non-intimidating because you can see like right here, right here, there is this, I think I can draw here. Let's see. Right here, it's very short paragraphs. And so it's not intimidating. Like if these paragraphs were like all together in one huge block, then that would be a lot more intimidating. But you see how the copy is chunked together. And it's very easy on the eyes. There's a lot of white space here. So again, what else strikes you kind of about the letter, guys? What else do you think just off the top of your head? There's no wrong answers. Any other ideas, or I think you can just talk. I think everyone's unmuted.
Can you hear me, Lutton? This is Sharon.
Hey, Sharon. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. So what I notice is he keeps reiterating in different ways that this is a proven system, that it's worked. Mm-hmm. It's worked with other people. It's worked in other places. It'll work for you too if you try it.
Right. Yeah, like this part, like both men and women. So all of this part right here. And again, yeah, the proven system. So, this proven system. And he can make that claim. Now, if he had said this proven system and hadn't given them like this part right up here, that would have also caused like a red flag. Let me see if I can kind of. So because he's saying like, because he's telling them that the Japanese eat the same foods we do, that's also diminishing doubt and an objection that they're going to have to buy some expensive Japanese food from some weird store. They're not going to have to do that. So basically it's like, it's also saying like, hey, this works for both men and women. And so I'm confident it can work for you. And because he's saying those things, and because he says he's a regular person, then he can come down and say, this proven system is different, right? So, but he didn't come out and just say, dear friend, if you would like to lose up to 63 pounds, here's how I did it in Japan and why you think you can do it in America. This proven system is different because you don't starve yourself. Now, that could work, like just sort of excluding this part. But as you can see, this part is so important because he's saying, I'm just like you. He's saying, I'm not a fancy corporation. He's saying, the Japanese, he's putting some curiosity in here because the Japanese stay keep thin but they do it by eating the same foods we do. And they added even more curiosity by saying, you know, they eat the same foods we do, but they don't get fat, right? So that's interesting. And then he's saying, I tried their system and quickly lost 63 pounds. Anyone can do it. This proven system is different because you don't starve yourself. And then he even says, I know this sounds unbelievable. I thought so too when I first heard about it, but after losing 63 pounds, I know for sure it works. And then he said, he further says, hey, this is not a diet, right? So again, he is basically coming out and addressing all of the objections that they could possibly have about this being, so number one, he says, like, this works, this can work in, number one, he's specific, like what he lost to 63 pounds. It works in Japan. It could work in America. He's no advertising agency. And then the Japanese eat the same food we do. Again, he lost 63 pounds. It works for both men and women. But somehow it's different. And then, it's not a diet. So do you see how it's sort of like, it's all sort of like a greased slide, getting them to keep going to the buy button. So basically, like, he's getting them by using these short paragraphs, by having every paragraph have something of curiosity in it, or something of sort of wonderment, like the Japanese eat the same food we do, and yet this diet works for them. In fact, I tried it, and other people tried it, and it worked, right? So all of this stuff is moving them down that ladder of desire, moving them toward that what we call the grease slide, or the slippery slope. It's moving them down the slide all the way to the buy button, and they do that with short paragraphs, and they do that with curiosity, and they do that by overcoming doubts and fears that this is a sales pitch, overcoming doubts and fears that they have to be special to have it work, that it doesn't work for them. It's working for both men and women. Proven system is different because you don't starve yourself. So again, it's overcoming that objection of, oh man, I'm going to have to starve myself. Oh, it just works for a man. Oh, I'm going to have to go on a diet. He says, no, it's not a diet. So if you could put this type of, not only the story, with the story is a great story, because it's like, I'm just like you, so he's overcoming those objections of not a sales pitch. I'm just like you, works for both men and women. I'm sure it will work for you if you try it. Now, again, this could be an empty platitude, right? Like, you see this all the time. Hey, this works. I'm sure it will work for you, which Facebook, now stands vehemently against. Like, you can't even say anything like that anymore. But this proven system is different because you don't starve yourself. So again, it's coming out and addressing, what do they have to believe in order to buy? Well, they have to believe that I'm not a corporation. They have to believe that I'm just like them. They have to believe that this can work for both men and women. They have to believe that you don't have to starve yourself. They have to believe that this is not a diet. Like, what are they most afraid of? That it's a diet, that they're going to have to work to get all these results. And he's saying, no, it's not a diet. It's not going to make you uncomfortable, just the opposite. So, and then he kind of goes into the story part, which I didn't have time to dictate. But I read to you, so you can kind of get the idea of what it was that he was coming up with. But the cool part about this is how you can model this. So I'm just going to give you so one of you guys give me what's one of the products that you guys sell? Or that you're trying to sell?
So this is Sharon. We're about to launch the Holistic Coaching Academy.
Okay, and what's one of the results that that they want to learn, or what's one of the benefits of the Holistic Coaching Academy that your customers or clients, like, what are the results that they're buying from you?
They are they're learning how to use coaching as a healing modality, but the biggest benefit to them really is instead of working session by session, they're able to put together programs and retreats. So their clients have a bigger transformation and they get a bigger paycheck.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
All right. Let me actually, actually, I know why you can't see what I'm doing. Just one second. New share. I want to share this. Okay. So, where do you live, Sharon?
South Florida, just south of Todd, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, cool. I'll be down on Anna Maria Island in like a month or so.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, so, and this is just kind of like off the top of my head. Let's change the font. So basically, like, you see how this is just so non-threatening. I love how it's just cloaked in Florida. I mean, it's cloaked in it's cloaked in you know, it's just so, like, it's cloaked in that storytelling modality, and it almost makes it so easy to write, because all we're doing is sort of not really replacing what Thomas wrote, but we're basically you know, we're basically coming in here and saying, we're basically coming in here and saying that, you know, there's something awesome happening. There's a story behind it. And then, so this won't be perfect, but if you'd like to earn, you know, so, you know, dear friend, if you'd like to earn far bigger checks, let's see, far bigger checks every month from your holistic coaching practice. Here's how I did it in South Florida, and how you can do it in any state or even Europe, or, you know, or Asia, you know. So, so this basically, it's igniting that curiosity factor that's like, oh, this could work anywhere, but also you're being so specific that you're anchoring it in the truth. And that's the best type of anchoring to do. So we could say something like, so something like that, you know. And then, all right. So then in this part, he's revealing what you know, because you could say like, because I do a few key things very differently in my, in how I get clients to stay long-term, right? Or whatever the big differentiator is, right? So if they're wanting to get more earning power, then, you know, if they're wanting to get more earning power, then that would be the big benefit. If they're wanting to get the clients to stay long term, then that would be what you would put, you know, right here. So, and then so you almost see how this is almost writing itself, because it's sort of like so rooted in that story. You know, and then basically it talks about, so there would be a few things like, you know, many coaches, you know, have advertising. So then you would kind of go on to kind of say what you were doing differently. So it would be a little different than, you know, than this, because of just updating it and that kind of thing.
Yeah, very cool.
But, you know, I did want you guys to kind of see, let's see, mine stay an average of whatever, you know, so 7 months. And then, so then you could talk about like results, you know, so like in that paragraph where he talks about, you know, I tried their system, he's talking about results. So this could be some type of like, you know, big win for a client goes here, you know, for example, you know, one of the clients that I helped had some big results. It's like this holistic system worked for me. It worked for my clients, and I'm sure it will work for you if you try it, right? And then the call to action after this whole letter is done could be sign up for a webinar. Could be, you know, it could be like there could be a consultation offer at the end. You know, it doesn't necessarily matter what the call to action is. The point is the story is so powerful, and how we use it is powerful. So I don't know if that helps you guys at all, but I just think this ad is fantastic, and I'll dictate the rest of it and get it to you. And maybe even like next week we could do, or next month we could do another training on how do we further adapt this for our businesses, you know.
Cool.
Yeah. So it works well. So and it can, and you know, it can work for any type of business. I mean, there's no, you know, obviously this is selling a system. You know, Thomas's ad is selling a system, but you know, again, yours does not have to be. You know, you could say, for example, my client took my advice and quickly, whatever result, you know, and quickly got 3 more clients for, you know, and quickly got her client to stay for an average of 90 more days further than she had ever gotten someone to stay on, you know. And then another client did the same thing, and another client did the same thing. And you could say, this holistic system is working for me. It's working for my client. And I'm sure it will work for you if you try it. and then you could address objections like, so one of the objections to a diet is you have to starve yourself. Maybe one of the objections for your people is they have to go out and like annoy people with more marketing when they can just, contact people that they already have a relationship with. I'm not exactly sure, but you would know
Actually,
those.
it's true.
Yeah, you would know those objections.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese system is not a diet. It's like, well, this system is not, pushy or annoying or, causes people to slam the door in your face. In fact, they will love hearing from you, and hearing about any and all offers you care to make. So again, addressing those objections and putting those to rest. And then there's the part where he tells the story about going to, the funeral or going to the memorial and having his weight. You could say like, but it wasn't always this way. Like many times I struggled in the past, just as I'm sure that you have. It's not fun. It's not pretty. But something happened where I was able to turn the tables and have my clients stay for long term. We're getting better results than ever. And, if you'd like to know how I'm getting these results, then, sign up for the webinar or, whatever the call to action is. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope it opens your eyes to what is possible with some of these letters or, even like a Facebook post or an email to your list, multiple emails to your list. You could say like, you could even break this letter up and be like, until next time, I'll continue the story tomorrow. And they're like, wait, what? It's like, there's so many things you could do with this here. But does anybody have any ads or anything else you want me to look at or go over with you or anything you're working on?
Yeah, we have a new sales letter if you wouldn't mind looking at it.
Yeah.
If you go to restorethefamily.com /sale, SALE.
Okay. And Sharon, this was you, right? So basically, I could paste this. Well, I thought I could paste it in. I guess I can't. I'll email this to you though.
Awesome, thank you.
And then I'll dictate the rest of the stuff so you guys have it. All right. So what was the focus on the family.com?
Yeah, restorethefamily.com.
All right. Let me share my
/sale.
Okay, /sale. All right. Let's see. I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay.
Well, that didn't work.
Let's see.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Oh, well, take somebody else and I'll figure out what's going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. Let's see. Is this the right website though?
It's the right website, but
Okay.
it should be a redirect to a Google Doc.
All right, cool. No worries. Does anybody else have anything else you want me to look at?
Yes, it's Craig.
Hey, Craig. What's up, man? How you doing?
Very good. Are you familiar with Ryan Levesque's survey thing?
I am in certain points. I've done the webinar with him.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
All right, so I just put in the chat where I'd like you to help me out with a headline.
Okay.
Sportsmentaltoughness.com.
All right, let me see. Where did the chat go? Here we go. All right, sports mental toughness.
So I followed his stuff to the letter.
Oh, whoops.
And this is, it's designed to get, for everybody else, it's designed for opt-ins, maximizing opt-ins.
Okay.
There's really successful people using this in the sports world. tennis instruction and some golf instruction. I'm basically just modeling off that. And my headline, I think, can use improvement though. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of a swipe off those other people. So that's where I got it.
sure, and that totally makes sense. I mean, you know, confidence is like 90% of it, right? You know, or you know, mental confidence. So
Right.
like once you've mastered the brain commands. So I would say something. Of course, a caveat with all of my advice is to test.
Yeah.
You know, split test everything.
Yep. No, I just want to hear your brainstorming.
Yeah.
We never until we test.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I think like when you do this, let me see. I think that's interesting, but I also think like I also think you could have something like let's see. You could even say something like, watch this 30-second video, right? Do you see my Word document here?
I'm looking at. I can now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Okay, so like watch this 30-second video or whatever.
That sounds more compelling, actually.
Yeah, so some type of, and then even like maybe not having this autoplay. Because what happens when you autoplay it is all of the copy might as well not exist. Because they're so drawn into you, which is natural, that I probably would have a couple tests, one with no headline at all and just like the autoplay video, right?
Yeah.
And then another one with a paused video and the copy, right?
Yeah.
It's also, I probably would get rid of the background photo if you can.
I can.
And just do an all-white background.
I think that's distracting.
Yeah, because basically, like, we don't want to have anything distracting, you know, and even the autoplay distracts from the copy because they can't watch you and read at the same time.
Right.
I mean, some people will, but basically, they're either not listening to you and reading, or they're not reading the copy and what they're watching, you know, so. Not that any of that's bad, but, you know, we want to have it all do its job. Let's see.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to having confidence and getting into that state, there are 6 major mental blocks that hold people back from acting and performing to their potential. And every person tends to have it.
All right, so let's see.
As a subhead?
This probably would just be another headline test.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Let me make it big. Right, so like this would be a, this would be, you know, did you know there are 6 mental blocks all professional athletes suffer from? See how to turn yours off here for maximum, you know, performance gains.
Yep. That causes me to ask, so this is directed at adult athletes. About probably 60% from my survey results are your weekend warriors who are really dedicated to their recreational sport, like cyclists, golfers, tennis players. And about 40% are like college athletes. So I'm wondering if I say professional athletes there. Yeah, I'm wondering if you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Did you know there are 6 mental blocks all athletes suffer from? See how to turn yours off here. Let's see. Turn yours off for maximum performance gains.
Yeah.
They like watch this message. So something like, did you know that this one would also be good, like, did you know that there are 6 mental, did you know that you're confident, your brain's confident, or something like,
Ooh, that's kind of cool. Ooh, that's good. I get the psychology there.
so like see how pro athletes have an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I might not be a pro athlete, but I want to become one, and I want to have an unfair advantage, and
Well, what about something along the same lines? It's like every high level or pro athlete, pro or Olympic athlete, competitor, whatever, has learned. Wait, did you know your brain has? Crap. I'm trying to think of. Did you know that you, as a low-level athlete, has this problem, and every high-level athlete has learned how to get over it, discover what yours is, and how to do it.
Right. I mean, I would even say something like, and this is like, there's a famous headline, for every country that has for every place that has a terrible disease, there's a country where it simply doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's that same thing. Yeah, and I've got the answers here. Take the quiz to find out what yours is.
And I'm having trouble like phrasing that, but
yeah,
you get the idea.
I get the idea. Yeah.
For every athlete who suffers from destructive doubt or from destructive confidence or from
What about something more pointed, like every lower level, I'll figure a better word. Every lower level athlete has one of these mental blocks. Every successful competitor has cleared them. Here's how.
right.
Take the quiz to find out which one is yours and how to clear it. Well, it has one of these 6 mental blocks.
Right.
you just naturally now, your fingers type and capitalize every single first word as it.
Yeah, for the headlines we do. Yeah.
No, I know we do that. I'm just saying you've done this enough where you just do it normally.
Oh yeah, dude. It's every younger athlete has one of 6 mental blocks, which destroys confidence and steals wins. Right.
Yeah.
Pro athletes have figured a way around it. See how, or you could even say, see how pro athletes control their mind for easy, or whatever the benefit is. See how pro athletes control their mind so they can win, or for an unfair advantage.
Right.
So yeah, I would try something like this.
So let me ask you this really quick while we're going. So the headline is just going to be to click the button and watch a video, plain and simple.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
That's what we're trying to get them to do.
Yeah, and so then I think, because then, I mean, if we can have a drop-down button, like where it says start quiz now
Yeah.
or whatever, and even not, but basically like instead of getting them to try to focus on 2 things, like, hey, I want you to read this headline, hey, I want you to watch this video, and hey, I want you to take this quiz.
Yeah.
Just give them like one thing at a time. So they're going to read the headline, they're going to, and then they're going to, so the whole goal of the page is to get them to press play, get them to watch the video, and then get them to take the survey,
Yep.
yeah, male, that's cool. I like that thing.
At least one of these blocks.
Yeah, and then I tried to do all this stuff, dude, but you're more patient than me because
I have a full-time webmaster who does all the techie stuff. I just tell him what I want. And
yeah, dude, because I was like, what in the world? So yeah, this is what I would go back through this video once we're done.
Yeah.
And try to do that one, like, for every athlete who has crippling doubts and fears, there exists a competitor which simply, doesn't have to deal with those frustrations. Here's how they do it,
Yeah.
and then, goes into the video. So yeah, I think I think the page is great anyway, and I think these things will just, I would make it an all white background.
Okay.
You can have a subhead. I would, I don't know if I would ask them to take the quiz. I mean, maybe test that out and kind of see, should we even mention that? Because the quiz sounds like work,
Right.
But, of course, Ryan knows what he's doing, and, so.
Yeah, that's all totally swiped from his training.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a smart man, for sure.
But it's worth trying these things.
I would definitely split test the page design and then split test like the autoplay versus the non-autoplay.
Right.
And then I would split test some headlines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. No problem. Let's see. Anybody else got anything? I think you guys are all unmuted now. Let's see. Okay, so we have more chats here. All right, cool. Oh, Peggy, so I see you sent me this. Let's see, I need permission. I'm going to request. Let's see.
Was this being such a pain in the butt? Oh, did you hear that?
I did. Yeah. I hear everything. So.
Oh, I have to watch that.
He knows all, sees all, hears all.
What was it, El Child?
Yeah, it's just lchilds@gmail.com. Yeah, I guess Google's weird, but whatever. Yeah, let's see. I just paid my health thing. These people. You're
Yeah,
right.
we
You
know.
pay your Verizon bill or whatever. They send you a thing and said, you know, your bill is ready. I'm like, I just paid it. Like, calm down, people. Let me see it in my. Let's see in the spam. It might just take a minute. Let's see if I can. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. All right. Do you see my screen?
I lost you.
Okay. Let me see. Now I want to share the screen, and I want to go to the document. Okay, so you should see my screen now.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, you can even model what we talked about earlier. You know, I want to talk to you about, let me see. Just one second. Dear friend, you know, dear friend, if you would like to, dear friend, if you desire to take care of, if you have an elderly, you know, relative or mother or father who you would like to create the best possible golden years for, here's how I'm doing it in, you know, in Iowa, and how you can do it in any state. Or, you know, home life situation. Before I tell you about it, let me say I'm not a, you know, I'm not an elderly care specialist. I do not have, you know, like a degree from some university. So this is just some straight talk from me to you, with some total honesty thrown in. So that is sort of, you could sort of start it with something like that. That would be very effective.
Okay.
You know, and so you don't, I don't know if I would start with this here because you're not sure if they've been putting it off. They could be like right in the middle of it. They could be like being fearful about it. And so like starting it off with an accusation might not be, not even an accusation, but starting it off with a statement that you don't know is true. So I would maybe like get rid of that part, and kind of just say, you know, dear friend, I want to talk to you about something that scares me to death, right? And that is taking care of, you know, of my elderly relative. You might be going through the same situation, and that's why. I mean, there's multiple ways to frame this, but basically, I think this part is good as far as like figuring out how do we address this issue. And so, are these people like on your list? Is this people that you're going to go through with paid advertising? How, like,
It's brand new. We're just moving over to this niche,
okay,
and we're going to be doing Google Ads.
okay,
So
Google Ads.
right now there's nothing.
Okay. So yeah, because it is cold, and by that I mean they don't know who you are. That's almost a good thing because you can use some of that approach that we already talked about of, you know, hey, this is working for me in this place, and I'm confident that it can work for you wherever you happen to live in the United States or even, you know, in Europe or whatever. Now, that works if you have something proven that you can sell and or advice that you can give out, which I think you do because you're working on the book, right?
Right. Well, we've got the book. It's already done.
Okay, the book's done. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you've had some success, and you want to pass out on that knowledge, and so that approach could definitely work for this letter. Thomas's approach of hey, I want to talk to you about something. It's you can even start with like the Gary Halbert introduction. The if then. So if you've been wondering what the best way is to take care of your elder relative, mother or father, or even an aunt or uncle, then this will be the most helpful letter you read all year. Here's why. And then you go into, let me see if I can actually go in and, all right, I'm not going to be able to edit it. You know what? I can edit it. Edit document directly. I want to make a change. I want to, okay. Dear friend, so let's see. So then you go into, my name is, and then, here's how it works. And so it's like, so then you introduce yourself. So it's like, so this part needs to be, so this is the part where the story goes. Okay. So we've promised them a benefit for reading, right? And then we're telling them why they want to keep reading. My keyboard is so messed up. So this is the story part. Story time. Like, who are you? So, I live with my mother in my home. So, and then you kind of go into, okay, so then you go into, you're like me, you probably are feeling or have felt horrible fear and worry about taking care of your elderly relative. If you are directly related, it can be almost twice as hard to start this transition. Let's see. So basically, what we're doing right here is we're setting the stage for the. So in this letter here, there's a lot of sort of it's not passing the so what test. So like they don't really care. They don't really. I don't think they really care about elder care necessarily. What they really care about is having the best possible mental health and having the best possible harmonious environment with the least amount of stress possible if they're thinking about the situation. So I think like this type of thing could help or it could hurt. You know, where it's like, don't fool yourself. You may have told yourself it's not a big deal. Whereas you are probably going to want to write more about, you know, like, my name is Lawton Childs Rennie because I have a very personal story to tell you about my mom. If you're like me, you probably are feeling or have felt horrible fear and worry, or, you know, intense fear and worry about taking care of your elderly relative. If you're directly related, it can be almost twice as hard to start this transition. After all, you know, you could say, after all, this journey to find the best balance of a peaceful home and a active lifestyle for your elderly relative is one that is not easy, but is entirely possible. You know, so you want to start peppering the letter with not necessarily like giving them that type of advice of like, hey, this is going to be hard, or hey, this is going to be, you know, hey, this is going to be a huge undertaking. You want to really talk more about things that will get them to keep reading, which is the alleviation of stress, the ability to handle running a home and caring for an elderly relative, you know, a quick way to deal with financial situations that might come up, and what to do so you never, you know, I don't know, run out of money or come up with, you know, end up in a really stressful financial situation because you've decided to serve in this way, you know. So there are things that I probably would want to see here, instead of like the no big deal, don't fool yourself, living with the elderly radically changes you. I would really bond with them by saying, you might be feeling a lot of different things right now. One of them could be worrying about how are you going to do this financially. Another one could be, you know, so you list 3 or 4 possible things they might be worried about and say, the reason I'm writing you is because you might be feeling one of 3 ways. You might be worried, you might be, if you're taking on a relative or have already done so, you might be worried about your financial situation. You might be stressed out about, you know, having a, you know, you might be stressed out if you don't get along with your relative, and you might be worried, you might be trying to figure out what the best solution is to have everyone live under one roof, you know. And it's like, I'm happy to tell you I found a solution to all of these problems, and one that's, you know, and I want to share you the story behind that. So, and then you kind of go into living with your mom, and so you see how that's more of like the greased slide than like talking to them about like, hey, it's going to be stressful and it's going to be hard, and, you know, you should buy my book. You know, so I think coming up with something that's a little bit more enticing would work better.
Okay.
Does that help you at all or make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense and it helps a lot.
So what I would say is like, I would write down like 7 or 8 problems like that they have, like could be financial problems, it could be stress problem, it could be, you know, whatever it is in your table of contents, and then maybe put that into a paragraph like, dear friend, my name is Lawton Childs. I'm ready because I have a very personal story to tell you about my mom. I also have some easy solutions to getting started with elder care, or if you're already started, finishing the race with dignity, love, and great memories. You know, however, Right now, things are amazing. However, it wasn't always this way. If you're like me, you probably are feeling or have felt intense fear and worry about XYZ when it comes to you taking care of your relative. And then you could have bullet points like you stress out and worry about the financial situation. You fret about having everyone live under one roof. You chew your fingernails at night because of XYZ. And this is all totally normal. And I'm glad if you're like me that you felt this way because it means I'm not alone. However, if you would like a solution to these issues, then keep reading. And then you tell the story about your mom, and you tell like the intense struggle. And thankfully I found a solution, and that was what this book is about, or whatever the next thing is. So it's basically like the 60-second sales hook would work really well for you guys, which is a free, I think it's Kevin Rogers' book. And Kevin does a lot of stuff with like copychief.com. He's worked with John Carlton. He has this thing called 60-second sales hook, which is sort of like, hey, I'm Lawton Childs, and for the last 3 years, like I really tried to train my dog, and it was horrible and terrible. I could never do it right until XYZ happened, and now I'm training dogs all over the world, and everything's awesome. Let me tell you how I did it. So that's sort of what you guys need, is that transition from what's the struggle into like what the big solution is or big fix is for people in the situation.
Okay.
So I think it's 60secondsaleshook.com. And it's like a 30-page book. It's really easy to let's see. All right, so if you look on my screen, I think you guys can, or maybe you can't see it.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Oh, you can't see it. All right. So the amazing 60-second sales hook that creates an instant bond with your best prospects. And you can opt in to this at 60secondsaleshook.com, 60. And this is a great little book because it will give you that clarity about what's the struggle that you were in, what's the solution, and then how to put that all into a letter, and this will really help you to sort of get the right ideas and the right framework for your hook and your argument.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, this really helped me, and I think it'll really help you guys. So yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do what you're doing as far as like putting an entire letter together, but it is something that that I would take another look at as far as like not really putting it off dealing with it and having blinders on, but more about like what's the thing that they're struggling with that you can identify with, and what are the solutions to those problems, and I think something so I think like, and asking the so what question, like for each paragraph, like relating the thing to Hollywood movies, is that going to move them closer to believing that I'm the right person for them to buy from, or farther away? Is this going to distract them from reading the rest of the copy, or is every paragraph earning its place as far as like, do you think that they will, if you came up to me and said, hey, your life, because of events in your life, that have happened, your elderly relative and yours are intertwined in many ways. It's like, I know that, but is that going to cause me to like trust you more? Is that going to cause me to believe in your solution more? I just think you need to do more bonding at the front of it, as far as like putting them in situations which saying like, hey, I know that these are stressful situations, in like list 2 or 3, and be like, what if you had solutions to these problems? And what if they came easier and quicker than you're currently experiencing? Would that be of interest to you? If so, read on, and then, you kind of tell the story about your mom, and then go through that 60-second sales hook so you can learn what's the struggle and then what's the solution, and then putting it all together.
Okay.
So hopefully
That's
that
awesome.
helps you and give you some more direction and clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You know, and then I'd be more than happy to kind of go through and give you more of pointers. Just email me access, and then we can have a separate conversation.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a great start, and it's definitely like heading in the right direction. I just think it needs a
Okay.
little bit more, you know, kind of clarity. So,
Okay.
cool. And yeah, check
Cool
out
beans.
that 60-second sales hook.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
All right, guys. Let's see. Anybody else have anything? Let's see. Where is the chat? Here we go. Yeah, but I guess for everybody, the 60-second sales hook is a fantastic little thing because it's basically giving you, it's not going to write an entire letter for you, but it could write that like, you know, there's a couple frameworks here. So one is like, you know, one framework is the John Carlton model, which is like, you know, here's who I am, you know, here's what I've got, here's what it'll do for you, and here's how to get it. So those 4 things, here's who I am, you know, like my name is Lawton Childs, and for the last 10 years I've been on the forefront of, you know, writing high-end persuasive sales messages for the internet's elite coaches, consultants, and marketers. You know, here's what I've got. I put together a whatever, you know, I put together the, you know, an amazing copywriting program that will allow anyone, regardless of their age, gender, or whether they passed English class, to write persuasive sales messages, videos, and PowerPoints, regardless of whether or not they can convince someone to take the actions they take right now. You know, here's what it'll do for you, and then I go into the bullet points of what it is, and you know, it's everything is delivered in a 7-week course. We meet once a week. You're going to get videos every week, and then I'm going to go through every video for you on a weekly call to give you exactly what you need to do and the order you need to do it to be able to produce amazing sales crushing, you know, persuasive messages in print or video or on camera form. You know, and then I go through some bullet points of like what else it'll do for them. Here's how to get it. If you feel like this is right for you, here's the deal. You know, and then I go through what the course is, how much it is, and how to get it. So like that 4-part thing, here's who I am, here's what I've got, here's what it'll do for you, and here's how to get it, is the basis of pretty much every sales message you will ever read that is clear and to the point, and you know, it could be 5, 10 pages, it could be 1 page. But as long as it has those elements, here's who I am. You could even add like, here's who I am, here's why you should believe me, right? Here's what I've got for you, here's what it'll do for you, and here's how to get it, or here's why to get it right now. You know, like giving them a call to action, which has that, you need to act on this right now, you know, that urgency to it. So there's a lot of different things to go through, but as long as you have those 4 ingredients of here's who I am, here's what I've got, here's what it will do for you, and here's how to get it now, that's the basis of every great sales message. You know, and then you have like Kevin Rogers, which is like struggle, opportunity, success. You know, like, hey, I struggle with my dog training and I could never get it to work. Until one day when I discovered this weird trick that my dog did. Now he'll listen to everything I say. If you would like to learn how I've trained my dog and thousands of other dogs using this trick, sign up for the webinar right now, right? So you see how like struggle, identity, all that, you know, identity, who am I, what was my struggle, what was the breakthrough, the big breakthrough, and what's the result, you know? So the big breakthrough was I can now train dogs of any, you know, any kind of dog, no matter, you know, what it is, and the result is things are better than ever. If you want those same results, sign up for the webinar or order the book or whatever. And so that, if you can condense it and you understand the product that well, then that's the first step to writing a letter like this. But here's who I am, here's what I've got, here's what it'll do for you, and here's how to get it. You know, that is the basis of a great conversion piece. You know, so, but yeah, guys, I don't see anything else in the chat. But yeah, if you guys want to email me that, and you know, I'll definitely you know, mark it up and send it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. Let's see if we have anything else. Craig said, thank you. Yeah, Craig, awesome job, dude. And yeah, let me know, you know, how it goes. And, you know, and split test that with the white background and the autoplay versus non-autoplay. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. This will be recorded. I think this is a lot better than that other join me thing.
Mhm.
I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your help and for your feedback. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you soon.